Okay. So I'm giving you the rate of change graph. So if f prime x graph is above the x-axis, this means f prime x is greater than 0. If f prime x graph cut the x-axis, this means f prime x is equal to 0. So you see A, you look at point A. Is below the x-axis for f prime x graph. Therefore, f prime x, f prime A is less than 0. So you put a negative here. Any question? So what should I put on B for f prime x? What should I put on B for f prime x? I should put 0 because it's this condition. Cut the x-axis. Clear? So that is the first thing. Depend on the graph given to you. Okay. Second thing, you have to know that f double prime x is the rate of change of f prime x. So if f prime x graph is going down, therefore f double prime x will be less than 0. So, and the stationary point of f prime x, that is, so the stationary point of f prime x will result f double prime x equal to 0. So that is where the point A is. So now can you tell me what is the value of f double prime A? Is 0. So how about f double prime B? Is greater than 0 because the graph of f prime x is going up. So that is how you fill up the table. So to fill up this table is not something that you think, oh, just put plus and minus as easy as you think. You must have all this in mind. You must specify it clearly. What is the, which graph is given to you? And how am I going to interpret each point on the graph? And I have to see the relationship between f double prime x and f prime x. The graph of, how am I going to draw the graph of fx? So I told you already, every time if I want to draw the graph of fx, I try not to draw the graph first. I try to get the sign diagram of f prime x and f double prime x first. Okay, so I get the sign diagram of f prime x based on the graph of f prime x. Okay, the sign diagram will go like that. Okay, can someone tell me which 2 points must I mark on the line? Can someone tell me which 2 points must I mark on the line? Okay, someone have told me already. Okay, I just randomly pick. Okay, Liang Yi.
0 and B.
Yeah, thank you. Why 0 and B, Liang Yi?
Because it's intersection.
Yeah, it's the
2
X
points
intersection.
intersect 0 and B.
Yes, you are right. Thank you. Okay, so based on the graph of f prime x, what should be the sign B? Above, below, above. So now I know my fx graph. It go like that. It go up, stationary at 0. Then it go down. Then it go stationary at B. Then it go up. Am I right? So if logically, if you have a look at this one, actually you don't have to draw the f double prime x sign diagram because the shape is quite obvious. So you see, if I make a smooth curve, it should go like that. There is an inflection point someplace somewhere, and you have to go up. Okay, so this is my 0, x equal to 0, and this is my x equal to b. And may I know what is the coordinate x for this inflection point? Can someone tell me? Yeah, it's at 8. So I have 3 important points. So when I sketch the graph, it's up to me how I want to sketch the graph. Because the question never said anything. So the position of the graph is not important. As long as you turn at the right place, inflect at the right place, then you get the full mark. So I know that you have to turn somewhere here. I just mark. The inflection point have to be somewhere there and turn another one. So what I can do is usually I will put a dotted line first. This is not vertical asymptote, please. It's just a guideline for me to draw the graph. So I will draw. Okay, you see, positive. So my graph have to go like that. Until here, up to you. Then it go down. Turn here, then it go up. So how I mark the shape correct? I give you right turning point, right inflection point, I give you the mark. So sketching graph is a skill. You just have to learn. If f prime x sine diagram, yeah, you just know how you go, but you still not sure, okay, whether it's supposed to go up or not. What we can do is you draw your f double prime. So you will know the shape. You see your f double prime x. So which point must I mark on the sine diagram? Can you tell me?
A.
A, because A is a stationary point for f prime x, correct? So A. So before A, the graph of f prime x is going down. So negative, positive. So you see, it tally. The graph of this one, if f double prime x is less than 0, this implies fx graph is concave down. So it's a crying curve. If you look at yesterday, one of your friends asked for the question and I say, I will put it into the WhatsApp. Yeah, I have explained exactly like this. Okay, when you talk about curve property, when you talk about relationship, that's exactly like in life. Okay, why you say it's concave up? Why you say it's concave up? Your friend say concave up. For because the questions, which part? Part E, correct? They say find the approximate time and the snake population, and where the rate of growth is increasing at its maximum. So instead of finding the rate, finding the population, I find the rate. So that is wrong. So you see, if you are careful, you know my answer is definitely wrong. Because the question asked for snake population and I put down the rate. Okay, so this graph, the shape is going to be like, okay, if you plot this graph, the shape of the graph is going like that. T equal to 0, so it's around here, then it go up, then it go. Am I right? So what is the maximum number of the population? That one you must know how to do. So I'm just telling you how to prove. You have to learn how to prove this as t tends toward infinity. What happened to e to the power of negative t? It will tend toward 0. So therefore, my nt will approach 25 and is from below. Okay, anyone have this issue? In the exam, I just want to see like that. So you have any issue that you don't know how to get this answer? What do you mean by an S of 25? Do you have the question in the textbook? Do you have practice 2 question 4 with you? Okay. So for this particular question also, you have to know, okay, you have to know how to get the inflection point. So there are 2 ways to get the inflection point. So what is the one way of getting the inflection point straight away? C over 2 is the population. So if for this question, correct? For part E, correct? If you look at part E, only 2 marks. For part E, only 2 marks. So I will say the time is and the population is I can straight away give the answer. That is 25 over 2. And I think is it in 1,000? Yeah. Right? So I get the 2 marks straight away. I don't even have to use calculator. If I get ready this for my exam. So this is ln A over B. Correct? So this form, do you write down this form in your notes? So ln A. So it will be ln 5.91 over my B is 1. So I get the answer. So I get 2 marks straight away. Relax and substitute. That's it. Okay. If you want to use graph, you don't want to jot this one down in your notes. You want to use your graph. Then you have to plot this is in your Y1. Your Y1 will be your NT. So you key like that into your graphic calculator. Then your Y2 is M prime T. And in your graphic calculator, this is not shown in the graphic calculator, please. You have to write like that. Okay, then you only plot this graph. And your graphic calculator, you either do zoom fit and you select your own domain and so on. Then your graphic calculator will come out the graph of M prime T like that. This will be your N prime T graph. And you get the coordinate of this point. Then you get this value. So there are 2 choices for you to choose. So if you are only give me 2 marks, I know that I have to do 2 things. Look, see, and answer. That's it. And how to look, see, and answer? You better get ready this. So 1 mark or 2 marks question, the answer is you have to look at it. You have to have in your notes, you look, you see, you compare, then you give the answer. No working. So take note of that. And if you plot the NT graph, I told you already, very important. If this is the graph that I want you to plot, your horizontal asymptote you must show. If you didn't show your horizontal asymptote, then you won't get your full mark. Okay, any further question on this? So when we talk about geometrical shape, there's a few things that we have to take notes of. Okay, I want to focus on prism. Okay, when you talk about prism, what can you say? Tell me about the characteristic of a prism. Is this a prism? Is this a prism?
Yeah.
This is a cuboid. Cuboid is a prism because the end surface are the same. A prism is a geometrical shape whereby the end surface are the same. So when we talk about a prism, the way we find the total surface area, okay, how do you find the total surface area? Are you going to count surface by surface? The answer is a no. The total surface area will be 2 times the area of cross section. That means a prism is a shape that with regular cross section. That means the end faces are the same. So it will be 2 times the area of the cross section. Can I just write cross section as CS? Plus the perimeter of the cross section times by the length. So you will get all the surfaces. Okay? So the volume will be equal to area of cross section times length. Okay, the cross section of a prism can be of any shape. Okay, most common shape will be rectangle, square, triangle. And when you talk about triangle, we have a few types of triangle, correct? You have a right angle triangle. So if you are given a right angle triangle, because we need to find the area of cross section, do you know how to find the area? Do you know how to find the area? We know area of a triangle is half base times height. So it will be half xy. If you are given an isosceles triangle, if I call this X, I call this Y. This is called isosceles triangle. Then how am I going to find the area? What is the height of this isosceles triangle? Isosceles triangle, there is a one axis of symmetry. I don't think you all remember all this. Isosceles triangle, there is a one axis of symmetry. So this will be X and this will be X. So the height of this triangle will be equal to square root of Y squared minus X squared. So therefore, the area is equal to half. My 2x is the base, and the height is the what? Here. If you are given an equilateral triangle, then how are you going to find the area? You can use the method of isosceles triangle because an equilateral triangle is one of the shape of the, all equilateral triangle are isosceles triangle, but not all isosceles are equilateral. Or I can memorize another formula of isosceles triangle. The area will be anyone who can give me the answer? Okay, if I want to follow the isosceles triangle, it will be like that. So here will be X over 2. So the height will be equal to square root of X squared minus X over 2, the whole thing squared. And this can be simplified. That is square root of X squared minus X squared over 4. So I have 3x squared over 4 square root. So this will be root 3 over 2x. So this will be equal to half base times height. That is root 3 over 4x squared. Okay. So I'm telling you all this. Okay. I'm telling you all this because tomorrow definitely you will see one of these. I don't know which one. Okay. I'm not going to tell you directly which one, but I have shortened down your learning already. Okay. Your friend asked, what do you mean by cross section? Cross section, that means you cut vertically. So this is called a cross section. I can cut here. I can cut anywhere. So we call this a regular cross section. So if I put the prism upright, the cross section will be horizontal. If I lay the prism down, the cross section will be vertical, perpendicular to the length or perpendicular to the height. That is called the cross section. Yeah, if you study biology, then